So, when you're starting to rig your fish, the first thing you need to do is make sure the fish is in the middle. Find a position, a perfect position, make sure the fish is that place, as in it's not moving away from it. So select the entire fish and or the character, whichever character you're rigging, make sure it is somewhere that you can control it. So I feel like that is good to go. And you can center pivot here and maybe freeze transformation. But don't date it straight. If you date it straight, it's going to take off your blend shapes. But the blend shapes, you can usually put them back on even after rigging. It doesn't matter the order. You can finish the blend shaping, then you do the rigging, or you can start with the rigging and get with the blend shapes. This fish I'm using, the owner didn't give me their fish texture. So it's always a good idea to smooth this fish at least once with this mesh smooth, which I told you is a bit permanent, like you can't go back to it after you have done it. But what it does, so you see before, you see how we have those empty spaces there? When you smooth, you see how it becomes a bit more warm, so it kind of gives the vertices or the bones more vertices to work with. Remember, the lines and the vertices act as muscles. They are those which are going to move, which the bones are going to link to create those movements. Then also you need these lines for the bending portions, like, well, because as a human, inside us we have a skeleton also. So this skin is a bit elastic. It's a bit elastic. So you find that if the bone bends, the skin can stretch and contract on the inside. But when you do this, it's able to stretch this side and contract this side. That's why you have those black things on your elbows. Guys, no yawning. No. You see that? So all that science, we put it to work even when we are rigging characters. So after you have done that, your fish is positioned, then you can start drawing your bones. You need to plan your bones very well. So the best way to draw bones is to use the side views and the front views. So I'm going to move this teeth a bit inside, and this madam, as you can see, she has several stuff in here. I don't know why that is, but I'll keep it there. I can freeze transformation on that too. So prepare your fish as much as possible, be meticulous about it. Okay, so I have my fish. This particular fish has two tails. Now observe, this is the middle of the fish. Then, this is around the middle of the fish, around here. This is supposed to be somehow the head, and then the tail is the side. So when I'm drawing, actually, I think I should also, no, I think it's okay. When I'm drawing, I'm going to go to my rigging, or you can switch to rigging here, and go to skeleton, create joints. The shortcut is here. Are we together? So I can say create joints tool, and I start with the root joint. The root joint, usually we draw it around here, but choose a place where there is a sort of a line. So I can draw my root joint about this woman acts a fish which has a middle. So I can draw my root joint around here. See that? Then I can go behind and draw another one. Maybe I feel like I should have drawn it a bit lower. And do that. Control, draw, draw. Depends on how much you want your fish to be, or like wiggly. Draw, and I'll draw another one about here, maybe. Get that? Then I can stop there. See that? But it's a good idea always to draw these in order, like in a proper, or like when they are straight. But these are not straight, but it doesn't matter so much. Now, the next set of joints, I'm going to draw them. By the way, when you draw from the side, they will be exactly in the middle. That's what I'm looking for. See? So when you draw them from the side, it's usually better. That's why you need to first position your fish in the middle. So the next set of joints, I'm going to draw from the head. So this, everything on my fish is going to be somehow centered on this. And I can still move it if I wanted to, a bit. As you can see, they have a parent-child relationship. Whatever is first controls everything in front. Whatever is next controls everything in front of it, as you can see. So I'm going to draw my head joint about here. I can draw it about here, where the eyes are exactly. There. Then this head joint, I can draw another one about here, which is like the mouth joint. Then I can press enter and go back to make sure it is in the middle. Sorry, as you can see. Sorry, why is it moving? See, yeah, something was happening to me. Yeah, so I have this head joint, and so I can name them, but maybe later. Now, what I want else to do is that I need a joint for these lips, a lip which so that I'm able to open the lips when I want to. Sometimes people just leave it here, but me, I usually want to draw another joint about maybe here, and one at the extreme end about here. And I press enter, then I'll draw another one about here, and about here. Yep, press enter. Now, if the joints are too big for you, or as you can go to Windows, actually I think it's display, animation, joint size. So this joint size, you're able to reduce the size of the joints or make them bigger. If they're overlapping, you can always just reduce them. But I think mine were okay. Okay. Now the next thing I want to do is to draw the joints for this fin here. So I'm going to start from here, depending on how much I want this fish to be able to wiggle the fin. But I don't think this fin is going to do a lot, so I can just start from about here and draw another one there. I draw two only. Press enter. So I have one here and one there. That fin is not going to match. Then I can go to this. You see how I'm drawing them in pieces? It's a good technique to draw them in pieces. Now these fins, I want this fin to be able to kind of wiggle from here, from this point, but I also want to be able to control this one. So I'll add a joint about here and another one about here. Don't draw them so much outside the skin. Then press enter. Then I'll repeat the process for this one here and about there. Don't draw the bones outside the skin so much. Okay, let's go back and see. So everything is neat in the middle now. These other bones which are radiating from the outside inside. By the way, you have a tool here called X-ray joints. When it's off, you can't see the bones, but when you turn it on, it's small, but it's there. You are able to see the joints through the skin. I think she had already turned them on, and she can see that. Now, there are these joints which are going to be coming from here and radiating through here. Now, those you can't draw them from the same side, like where you have done these. You can't draw them from this side, so you have to draw them from this side. For example, the eyes. The eyes, sometimes I prefer to draw them from this side, then I move them over. So I can draw one about here, make sure they're in the middle, and I can just move it over about here, but at the same time I can just draw another one here while I'm using the side and press enter. So those are just joints. I told you these are joints, these are bones. What connects the joints are bones. So I want those joints to be exactly on the same distance, but each one in the eye. Now, because I drew the other one, which one was the last one I drew? Seems to have gone in properly. Yeah, I think I need to draw another one. Okay, let me just keep it. Repeat. Come on. Let me draw it from the front, like about here. The problem is it's going to go in the middle of the line, which is okay. I can just drag it back into the eye, and I can use my side view. Make sure they're on the same side, the same height. They don't have to be exactly the same height, but it's good for them to be on the same height. Okay, so they are coming together. Now let's draw these other ones. Now those other ones, we can draw them from the top. Remember, you have the top. You have three sides: top, front, and side. You use them. Don't use the perspective when you're drawing. When you use the perspective, the bones are going to be a problem for you. They're going to be all over the place, hanging no places. So from the top, I can easily figure out how I want it to flow. So I can start from here, draw another one here, and one there. So as you can see. Then from the top also I can draw from here, about another one here. Draw where there are lines, it helps. Another one there. Then you come, they're going to be at the bottom, of course. Then you can bring them. When you take them up to where the first bones are supposed to be. These first bones, they're supposed to be about there. Not so? Now get these ones and just drag them to match, as you can see. So that way on top, they still have the same flow out, but when you come to them, they are still in there, as you can see. So use the sides, it becomes very important. Move them down, and with that, the bones have finished. The joints have been drawn. Now the task is to name them. This is the root joint. Root joint. This one is, you can call this chest, maybe. Where's the head? The head is over here. You see, the head is supposed to be exactly in the middle there. Head joint. Now, why do we name these joints? Because later on, we are going to be doing something called skin weighting. Skin weighting, you need to know which joints are which joints. When you reach there, there will be a list of joints. So if you have just as 1, 2, 3, joint 23, you won't know which joint is where. But when they're named, you can easily tell, oh, I'm looking for the chest joint to weight its influence. We shall discuss that as we go along. So this can be the mouth. This is the head joint. This is the mouth joint. This is upper lip 1. This is upper lip 2. You can name them whichever way you want. Upper lip 2. This is lower lip 1. You know what the spellings. 2. This is the left eye. You can add on joint if you want. This is the right eye joint. Okay, which one I've going to named? The joint is here. This is the left fin 1, left fin 2, left fin 3. This is the right fin, right fin 1, right fin 2, right fin 3. Now this is the top fin 1. This is the top fin 2. I don't expect to move that fin a lot. That's why I gave it only 2 bones. But if I wanted it to move a bit more, if I wanted it to move a bit more organic, the more you want it to really make a curve, the more joints you have to add. So that, I don't think it's going to be moving a lot. So I'm giving it just 2. But if I wanted it to have more, of course, I will do more. Okay, so this is the joint. This is the chest joint. I'm just going to just join. I don't know why I'm calling that. The chest should be above here, but this is a fish. Yeah. This is the tail 1, tail 1. Tail 1. This is tail 2. Tail 2. This one is upper tail 1, upper tail 2. Because your fish has a split what? A split tail, so I'm having that stuff. Lower tail 1, lower tail 2. Yeah, so they are named. Now these joints should be oriented. That would be after naming. They should be oriented. You can orient them first, or you can name them first. It's really the order that's not important. So those days we used to, when Maya was a little older, we used to orient the joints manually, one by one. So you make sure that you turn them until the red axis is facing the next joint of the influence. But these days Maya does that automatically. So you don't have to do that, so you can skip that. Yeah. Now, you see, as long as the red is facing the next joint of influence, note the joint of influence, then they are oriented. If you see this red facing any other direction other than the next bone in line, then they're not oriented. But as long as the red is facing the direction of the next bone, it's okay. Now somebody will be like, what about this one? You see, this one will have to face the direction of the next joint, not the other one. This one will not face any direction. Why? because it doesn't have any links yet, but it's still facing that direction anyways, which is okay. But as soon as we link them, it will find its way out. Something here, the red should be facing the next, you see? The next, for it to be oriented. So, but these are already oriented, which is okay. Now, the next step would be for you can add controls here, or you can first parent them. So let's parent them. These are already parented. We can start from up here. This is the child of this one. Press P. This one is the child of this one. Press P. So when we wiggle this guy here, this should be both wiggling, but we should be able to wiggle this one alone. You get? Okay. This one is the child of, you can either put it here or put it here. I think we can put it here. You get? This one can go here. This one can go here. Hurry up, of course. Okay, now we have something here. So we have this joint controlling everything else, but we have now joints in front here. So which should be the parent? This one or this one? Sorry? The head joint should be the parent. Why? Okay, so we're going to go the opposite of what he has said, because I told you every character object has a middle. The root joint is not the reason why we call it the root joint and not the middle joint, because everything has a center of gravity where your entire body mass meets or balances. A human body does not balance from the head, it balances from the waist. True or false? So meaning everything is somehow joined to that waist. So a fish's center of gravity is actually in the middle there. So everything should be coming there. I drew a picture there sometime back and I demonstrated it. Like it should balance in the middle. A dog's center of balance would also be slightly different because it works on two legs. So it will be different. So actually the head has to be the child of this root joint, because the root joint should be the one controlling everything, such that you are able to control the head alone. You're able to control the head alone because the head is going to control other things. Okay, so these eyes, they are going to be a child of the head. These eyes, child, parent. So that we have that happening. Then this should be a child of this. Child, parent. Child, parent. Such that this mouth can move like that. But at the same time, this one can do that. For the joint. Sometimes people don't draw the upper joint because in most cases we drop the lower jaw. We don't move the upper jaw. But a human being has two jaws, so the character that way has that. Okay, so after that is done, you can adjust a few things if you want to. For example, you can move this ahead, but it's always better to move them from the side view. But from what I'm seeing, I think we're okay with this. So the joint should be this simple. They shouldn't be that complicated. So we have that working for us. Now the next step would be to create. What's the next step? So next step is create controls. Start with that. Control D, then you go to that. This is going to be the root. These I'll put them as I name them, root control. Now the root control, what I want to do, I want to go to my move tool and move it in position. As you can see, I want it straight, 90 degrees. So how do I get it to be in the middle? I have to press down V on the keyboard. I have to press down V on the keyboard, getting a bit close, press down V and snap. Snap in the middle of the bone. There. I want it to snap in the middle of the bone, so make it a bit smaller. I don't want it exaggerated. So this is the root control. And I am going to freeze transformation. Delete history, important, center pivot, freeze transformation. That is supposed to be its new position. Huh? Good. Control D, you can do the head next. Go to the side, make sure the head joint is, this thing is, make sure it is exactly in the head joint. I'm pressing V there. So to show the line of inference, you can reduce this slightly also. So this is bigger, the other is smaller. I think you can make this a bit bigger. Then freeze transformation it again. And this one is a bit smaller, not too small though. Freeze transformation, center pivot, history. Don't forget on those. This is supposed to be the head control. Let me finish up with the front and I go to the back. Control D to see how much I'm being efficient. Guys, V snap. So when you press V, this square turns to a circle so that you're able to snap exactly in the middle. If you can't find it, just get closer until it snaps exactly in the middle. This one, we shall make it even smaller, about there, and I will do what? I will name it as, this was what? Lip joint. It's lip control. Enter. And history, freeze transformation there. Now for these ones, I just need one to control this and one to control the other. So Control D, I'll move it up. Observe, I just need this to go up and down in most cases. I'll press V on my keyboard and snap. Get closer, snap it to the bone. Yep, I think that's good. Make it smaller. When you make it smaller, I want it to be a different shape though. This one I can make a different shape. I can go to control vertices and I make it into a sort of a square like this. I've taught you in the past to do this. So for visibility, I can make it look a bit like that, so that it stands out, as you can see. Okay. Still in the middle. History, center pivot, Freeze transformation, lip control. This is upper lip control actually. Upper lip control. Press enter. Control D, and move to the other lip. You see I'm moving through the sides, the cameras, guys, there. So making different shapes is going to kind of make the controls a bit more visible to the user. Remember, I told you when you're rigging, you're not really rigging for yourself, sometimes you're rigging for another person. Understood? Yes. So we have that, and we have it down here. We are going to do something called a history center pivot, freeze transformation, and this is the lower lip control. Lower lip control. So these they don't need to do. We don't need controls on over there. Okay, so let's go to which ones? Shall I go back there? Let's go step by step. Let's also go here, Control D, and I will turn like this to 90 degrees. Doesn't matter which side it's facing. Make it smaller. I want to snap it on the side. I want to snap it on this joint here. Move to, pay attention. I want to snap it to the joint here. Turn on this. So I want to snap it. So I can turn on my 5 from 4 to 5. Then I can turn on my extrude joints so I can see where the joint I'm snapping. So press V and snap. Snap. It should be exactly in the middle there. Now, because of the orientation of this fish, I can make it a bit smaller and bring it out a bit like this. As you can see. A bit like that on the angle. Let me go. Up here. Yeah, I thought as much. It wasn't in the line. I'm going to press the number. I'm going to press V and then snap it. Yep, I think that's better. That's better. And I can rotate a bit slightly. So when I do that, I can say history, center pivot, and freeze transformation. On that, Control D, I want to move this ahead here. And I want to press V and snap in this bone here. I want it in the middle there. There you go. Make it smaller. I told you by making bones smaller, it shows the direction of control. Let me move it from the side also and snap. Because these bones are not exactly equal from all sides, make it a point to check from all sides to make sure it's in the middle, as you can see. And this one, I can rotate it also a bit and just make sure it's doing a great job. I can sweep it back a bit to follow the curve of the fin, as you can see. Actually, this one also I can. This one I can leave. This one I can curve it a bit to follow the fin. Freeze transformation, center pivot, history, Control D, and move. This one is going to Control 1. It is left fin. Left fin. Control. this one, I'll copy it for efficiency to this one, so 2, then copy it to this one for efficiency, so say 3. So I can leave out this one. And leave out this control. I don't think it's going to control anything. By the way, I could leave out that control to be efficient, but some people usually put a control here. What do you think? Should we put or we shouldn't put? Control V. Guys, are you with me or against me? V and snap. Come to the side. V and snap. I want this to be in the middle exactly. As you can see, and make it smaller to show size. You see, by making them smaller as they go down, you kind of show the person that the control is coming from the top down. I told you it's called visual communication. Yes, so it helps. So this is 3. Freeze transformation setup with history. Something this side. That's already done. Okay, so we cannot mirror this side. We could though, but it will be a pain to realign them. So let's just Control D and move over this side. Go to the top and position V. Come on. Yep. Pressing V. Go to the side and V. I think that's the middle, I'm not sure. Then rotate in sideways like this. About there. That looks good. And freeze transformation, center pivot, history. Then move to and Control D again. This one is right, guys, right fin 1, right fin control 1. Make this one a bit smaller and do the same thing. V, drag in and drag in and drag in. Make it slightly smaller. I think it's small enough. This is right fin control 2. Yeah, it's repetitive, but I would love you to do it continuously. So I'm going to actually rotate this a bit so that it swoops back a bit like that on that axis. Then I freeze transformation again. Straight, doesn't hurt. That's my sweep, and I can just Control D this one and move it over here, make it even smaller. Move to V, there, go to the side, V, snap. I think that's it. It's in the middle there. It's sweeping sideways, which is okay. Can you increase this one slightly? Freeze transformation slightly. This is left. It's the right, sorry. Fin 3. This is what? This is 2. This is 3. Okay, that's cool. 1, 2, 3. That's okay. Freeze transformation, history, center pivot. Okay, that's happening. Then let's do these ones at the top. Control D. Rotate. I prefer them being positive 90. And move up. Like that. You can reduce and you can do that. Have you seen that, guys? You can do the shape of the fin. Go to the side view and press move tool, V on the keyboard, and center the bone. There. Has to be exactly in the middle. Come back the side, make sure it is hitting exactly in the middle of that bone. It helps. And I can control D and move this one ahead, but maybe let me first finish this. Okay, so you can change the way the shapes on these things look like. You can even lift them a bit to match your fin. As long as it's rotating on an axis, it's okay. You can lift them so they are visible at an angle, but just make sure they don't disturb you. They should be the same thing. Okay, this is top fin. Control 1. Freeze transformation, center, history. Don't forget those 3 things. Then I will duplicate and take it further up here. V. Make sure it is in the middle. V. There. I think it's in the middle there. And I will sort of do that to it. I could make it smaller to show that there's a flow. Then history, center pivot, freeze transformation. Sorry. Okay, save. Move on to the next one. Control D. We are almost done. In order for this not to interfere, I could make it smaller like this. It doesn't matter if it goes through, as long as it's workable. V, move to V, snap. I think the front is also good. Front is better. This is, what joint was this? Chest joint. So this is chest control. Control D. Move. Smaller. This one should be. History, center pivot, freeze transformation. They should be at zeros. This one, move it. V. Drag downwards. I'm pressing V. Good. A bit smaller, not too small though. This bone was what? Tail 1. Tail 1 control. Freeze transformation, center pivot, is straight, doesn't matter the order. Control D, this one. Okay, we're having a bit of trouble here. You can drag that a bit back up. We don't want it to be so much outside. This one, V, drag and center. Because of this bone has different controls, different influences. It's influencing two different bones. Because it's faced with two different bones, you can see its orientation is not straightforward, but that's okay. Just make sure this thing is roughly in the middle of it. It can find the middle by just you pressing V on the keyboard and moving that control. Make it slightly smaller so that people know it's the influence. So the influence, the biggest influence is here. It gets smaller this side. We can make this one a bit smaller. This transformation, history, and then this side. As you can see, this is animation 101, freeze, transformation, center pivot, history, or more like rigging 101. Control D, we are going to have this one at the top. I want to press V and press V. I think it's in the middle. Then I'll rotate it like that. Make it smaller, not too smaller, as you can see. Okay, I don't know why the bones are moving sideways. That is creepy. That is creepy indeed. Very creepy. I hope my controls are not shifted. I think it's still okay. It's still okay. This one's just shifted a bit. V. Move to V and rotate. I can rotate it to match that. As you can see, I want to make it smaller. Okay. This is, which control is this? Upper tail. And if you want to save time, you can just copy and paste on this. Upper tail 1 control and control D. If you want, you can put controls over that or not. Actually, I think let's put. Move to zoom in. Hang in there, guys. There. I think let me leave it like that. Smaller. Okay, I think that works. Freeze transformation, history, center pivots. Don't forget to freeze transformation, guys. Those processes are very important. I really fond of doing that. Don't forget. You have seen me do it, so I don't expect you to forget it. You're allowed to forget, but don't leave them hanging. You're allowed to forget. That's weird, eh? Anyways, V, position. I want to position this one a bit like this, and this, a bit like that. Oof, that's ugly. Yeah, I think that's better. This is lower. Okay, this is lower. One control. This one was what? Upper tail 2. doesn't need this one. This one is lower tail 1 control. History, freeze transmission, and all that. Control D and move. Guys, just bear with me. I know all of you, this thing is disturbing you, so I'm trying to make it as extensive as possible. Here, and reduce it a bit size, but it can actually be done with the controls. Size, reduce the size. I think that's okay. This is lower tail 2 control. And first transmission is straight. Okay, and we are done for that section. Now, since I'm not taking a break, what's the next step? This one, the fish, you can leave it as it is here. Now you constrain also. Okay, now we constrain. This is easy. When you're constraining, you begin with the control and then the child. That's the order. So with parent, you begin with parent, then, child, parent. When you're constraining, you begin with parent, child. Does that make sense? Yes, so the controller is what you select first, then let's begin with this. Control, joint. So one is to constrain, parent constrain, maintain offset please. Alright, maintain offset, leave it on, apply. When you apply, this should turn. Parent constraint controls translation rotations, but doesn't control scale. Understood? It doesn't do what? Control scale. So it only controls those three, and there's a reason, so we shall see it later. But now, when you select this thing, it's controlling that. That's the bit, which is okay, which is supposed to be controlling the whole thing. We're together, guys. This looks complicated, but it's not, because it's made up of small processes. By the way, that's how AI takes over very complicated tasks, like flying a plane. You see, even a plane, as complicated as it is, it is just a bunch of small systems which make a giant system. Remember those things? Of like a cell which builds organs, and organs build a body. So small things build bigger things, and those bigger things build the bigger things. Same thing here. So the process, same. Like by the time you're done, you have built a complex system. So we say the rig is a system of joints and controls that we use to control an object like a puppet. That's really the wrong way to say it, or a non-technical way to say it. Okay, let's continue. Since nobody's helping me, I'm going to do it alone anyways. So this, and okay, let's go in front instead. Let's do as we did before. So this one was gone there. This one is on this one, not so? Apply. It is a good idea for you to check them out. But make sure you don't leave them with numbers. They should be back to 0. There. Now, these eyes here, these ones, you can just parent them to this. Don't constrain them. For them, you can just parent. Actually, I usually prefer to do them a bit later, but it's okay. Child, parent. You can just parent them to these bonds. Child, parent. But I shall do that later because we have to first skin bind. Let's continue. This one goes to this one also. Hello. Whoever is sleeping, you have my permission to wake them up. Okay, that is working. This one controls this one. Why do we create controls? Because we can't animate bonds. That would be silly and rather counterintuitive. Okay, that's not working. What have we done? This one's working. This one and this one, apply. So this one should be able to control that. And this one should be able to control both of them. Now you're going to notice that as we constrain, the bonds no longer control each other. Have you noticed that? Eh? Because before this bond was controlling everything in front, but now look, it's only controlling that. Why? Because when you take away the influence they have on the next one, the control is over. The control is now in charge. So its influence on the other bonds disappears, but we're going to push it back because you said after constraining, you do what? After constraining, you do what? The controls themselves. To bring back the other effect of which has gone off. Because remember, this one was controlling everything in front, but notice now it's no longer doing that. It's only controlling everything behind, but as soon as the constraint also goes, it's going to lose that influence. Okay, so these are done. Where are we? We are here. This one goes on this one. Apply. Come on. This thing, when did it go down? There. So you have to be careful on such mess ups. This one on this one. This one on this one. Apply. This one on this one. Apply. This one controls this one. Apply. So this one, if I move it, it moves. If I move this one, it moves. If I move this one, it moves. Listen to that. So if I wasn't demonstrating, I would be doing the pirouetting at the same time. But I want to finish one layer, then go to the next layer. So anyways, this one and this one controls this one. This one controls this one. Don't forget to save. Test them before you go away. Ensure they are working. See, I think Farida, this is where you are getting it mostly wrong. Like when you do the process, you don't test it. But be sure before you move away that it has gone on. If you just do and go, sometimes you're going to find that you have a lot of unconnected things when you finish. Okay, this one controls this one. Not so? Apply. This one controls this one. Apply. So test. It doesn't have to test. Test the controls to make sure that. And notice that now this guy has lost all the controls on that. That's okay. That's very normal. We shall put them back. Okay. This one is controlling this one. Apply. This one is controlling this one. This one is going to control. Apply parent constraint. This one is going to control this one. Apply. This one is going to control this one. Apply. This one will control this one. Apply. This one will control this one. Apply. So you can test a bit. As you can see, then none is controlling the other. See that? Each of them is alone. Because the controls have gone to, the controlling has gone to the controls. All together, guys. Yes, I'm trying to make it as extensive as possible so that you can just follow it later on with your own time and your own speed. I hope it's recording. Now, like seriously. Okay. The next thing is to put back the inference of parenting. So we want this giant thing to be controlling everything else, and each of them to be controlling each other. So this one, right now, the control has gone off. You see things alone now. It's not controlling anything. So I have to get this control For now, we don't need this. This control, and as a child and parent to this one, P. Now, when I do that, this control is influenced. Okay? Then I continue down. This one has to be controlled by this one, P. Don't parent this director to that. Parent to the next immediate, because when this head turns, you want it to control everything in front, but you don't want it to control everything behind it. Should I say it in Uganda? Good. Now this mouth is going to control this one. So child, parent, and this one child, parent. See that? So that when you have this mouth selected, you can move them like that, but these children can move on their own. Okay. But at the same time, this head can move everything in front. But this guy, again, can move everything in front there. Good. Child, parent, child, parent, child, parent. So this good guy moves everything, but this one moves everything in front, and this one everything in front of it. This one has nothing to move, but it just moves that partial corner. Something aside. Child, parent, child, parent. This child goes to this one, not the head. So when we turn this fish's head, we don't want the fins to move. We just want the head alone to move. The fins should be connected independent to this guy here. Okay, child, parent, child, parent. This guy controls everything. Then this one is the child, this is the parent, but this one is the child of this one. Child, parent, child, parent. Such that this one, when it wiggles, those also wiggle, but these ones you can go down there and wiggle them independently. Now this one should be wiggling everything else. Child, parent, child, parent, P. Child, parent, child, parent on this one. So that we wiggle that. At the same time, we're able to wiggle this. Understood? Okay. I think most of you have been stopping here, also. Now, this one is doing everything. Now, what we're going to do next is the skin bind. The skin bind. Select the mesh, shift select the main root joint only. Go to skin, bind skin, options. I think we can leave it as is. Say apply. When you apply, one of the ways you can tell that it has been skin bound, the joints change color. No, you skin bind the joints. That's why you've been doing this exam. Thank you for reporting yourself. Please, you select the mesh, then the root joint. Select only one joint, the root joint. That's why the root joint is parented everything to it. The joints are the joints. Then the root control, we parent all the controls almost to it, like everything to it. Everything is the dominant. So when you say skin bind, Maya will be able to read all those joint connections by itself. It doesn't need your assistance. So just select the fish, shift select the root joint and skin bind. When we do characters in the future, there will be other options which we need to put in consideration, whether the character has an open mouth or whatever. But for now, this is good enough because this is supposed to be a foundational character. Okay, so when you do that, you're going to notice that if you move the fish now follows apart from the eyes, which is okay. But when you turn the head will sort of follow. See that? Now, the eyes, of course, are now very uncomfortable for you guys. So what I said you should do is just child parent them to these bones. Child, that joint, P. Child, I hope you're seeing the joint I'm talking about. Yeah? It's that eye joint, parent, such that when you move the head, the eyes are moving together. See that? Now the teeth, the same thing. These teeth, you can parent them to the respective joints. I might prefer to maybe set them on this one. Child, parent, P, child, parent, P. But this one is teeth, eh? Yeah, something else. But anyway, whatever. So you find that I'm able to do that. See that? Now, that bit which is influencing and not letting go, that is what we need to do with skin weighting, which we shall do in the next tutorial. See that? So sometimes we just want this bone to control only this lower lip without influencing the upper lip. That's what we call weight control. So we're going to remove the weight of that so that it only controls the lower bit and also not influence so much down here. But you see the setup, how it helps, eh? As you can see. So what else? So we have this guy, and we have this guy here, and we have this guy. So it helps. Okay. Then we have this guy. I think it's enough movement, not a big deal. And we have this guy. Then we have the wiggle. So that. Then we have this guy. And we have this guy. And we have that one, which you can also move up and down. So yeah, that comes in handy. Now, the issue from this point on is going to be scaling this fish. We need to be able to scale this fish to fit whatever we want it to fit. So that's why I have this global scale. This thing, number 3, this is called the global scale. Remember, we are doing a parent constraint which has translation control and rotation control, but doesn't have scale control, so we can't scale this fish. Now, the reason why we need to scale, the reason why we need to scale this fish, it is because you might build an environment and then you bring this fish in. Or you might want to make this fish daddy fish, then you duplicate it, or you bring it, a copy of it and make it mommy fish. Or daddy fish and mommy fish cannot be the same size. Or the baby and the mom cannot be the same size. So if we are doing any storyline, animating any storyline, we need 2 fishes. So we are able to make one of the fishes smaller and the other bigger. That's why we need to be able to scale. But we can't scale it like this. So the best way to scale it, attention to this, the best way to scale fish is to group the controls and the joints. Okay. Then you parent the constraints, parent constraint the group to the global scale. Okay, this is what I mean. Pay attention. You don't have to write this. It's here. Observe. So I'm going to go to the outliner. My outliner has all the root controls. You see, when I select the root control, it has all the controls also. The root joint has all the joints under it also. So I get that and this. No, actually, this one and this one. I'm using control on my keyboard. This one and this one. I do control G to group them. So I can rename it by double clicking it and say these are joints and controls. I hope it accepts that. Joints, control, group. See that? Now I can do center pivot on that. Don't freeze transformation is already okay there. So those two things selected, what I want to do is I want this to control them. I want this to control them. So this global scale, first of all, before even I forget, I'm going to freeze transformation it, history, center pivot. So that is back to 0. So this one is going to be the master controller for everything, or the global scale. So I'm going to select it first because the one I want to control. Control and select in the group here, the group. So after you have prepared your global scale control, the one which is supposed to make the fish bigger or smaller, you will notice that actually if this is what we're trying to avoid. If I parented this control directly to this thing, it will still control it movement wise. You know, you can't move the whole thing. It's okay. But when you try to scale, you see what happens? That's what we're trying to avoid. That's what we're trying to avoid. So don't be tempted to just parent everything. So what we're trying to avoid is that. So what we do, we prepare our control, the global scale control, by freezing transformation, dating history of it, and all that mambo jumbo we've been doing. You know it, the history and whatever. Now I've already grouped my joints, and so there's a small plus here in this group. It means under it there is the root joint. Why do it only in the root joint? Because everything is under it. That's why it also has a small plus on it. When you click on that plus, you find that all the joints are down there. So everything is in there. It's like papers in a folder, then that folder in a folder on your computer, and that folder in a folder, and that folder in a folder. So you only select one. So this is called applying programming, guys. Yeah? You don't have to code programming, just know your programming. You don't have to think about it. So at the same time, our controls, root control, has the root control is this one. It has everything under it. The chest, whatever. Naming them helps, I told you. So that's why we only need them to be selected and put in a group. So this group is what we want to control using this control. So we want to get our control after preparing it. Control select the joints group. Of course, make sure the group you have centered pivot. So select this one, control. Where am I selecting it from here? Because it doesn't exist here. It's here. So controller first, group next. What will be controlled next? Then go to constraint, parent constraint with offset. Make sure it's offset. So I want to apply parent constraint. Then after that, I'll go back to constraint and go to scale constraint. Bring it up with offset. Make sure if this is off, you turn it on. Then you apply again, such that you have translation done and scale done. Why do we apply two constraints? Because parent constraint only constraints translation and rotation. But the scale constraint has to be added there so that we can also have the scale. So now from what we are having, this control here, it can move the fish any side we want. But at the same time, it can scale it without altering anything. You can make it really tiny, or you can make it really big, and nothing will change. Now, this is what we call a rig. You can go to show, remove nav caps. Actually, not nav caps. Joints, sorry. Remove joints. switch off the joints. So you only remain with your fish. This controls what you're going to use to animate this fish. This fish is animated already. The only thing which we are missing is a weight. Yes, paint weighting. But of course that's too much. I will do that a bit later in a smaller. Actually, there is already a tutorial for that online. Okay, where is that thing? And that's it. That's it. Where is that thing?